We had an email exchange with Ted Haggard of the New Apostolic Reformation after he had read a letter that we sent out to the National Association of Evangelicals about his being elected as president of that organization. Now, our intent was to inform the membership of the NAE about his connection to the New Apostolic Reformation agenda. Mm-hmm. And, well, he wrote us back an email. And you know what? It was surprising. He denied that he was involved with the the NAR on many levels. And basically, just to let you know, he did give us the right to go ahead and talk about what was on his email. He said, I assume that what I write always has the possibility of being used in public. Sure, you can use my statements all you like. Just note that they are what they are. So it's understood that in the letter, sometimes I don't qualify certain statements that I might make in an official response, especially if I knew that the recipient was hostile and looking for an opportunity to be critical instead of helpful. I guess that's what we are, is we're hostile and looking for an opportunity to be critical. Actually, all we were doing was pointing out some facts, and we wanted people to be able to make an informed decision based on the facts.
Mm-hmm. I think he needed to put his cards on the table, and he didn't seem to want to do that. He said he was not part nor supports the New Apostolic Reformation, despite he's on the board, and that he participated in a deep level for years, such as in their conferences and actually hosting it at his own church.
Yeah, the statement that we had made, we said, Ted Haggard is promoting the agenda of C. Peter Wagner and his New Apostolic Reformation and the International Coalition of the Apostles. And his response was, quote, I do not embrace the modern prophetic movement presented by Dr. C. Peter Wagner, Chuck Pierce, Cindy Jacobs, and others, nor have I ever. Now, I don't know if you remember seeing what was on this video, but he not only endorses it, this video was filmed at his church. Some of these organizations are based at his church.
Exactly.
At one point, he says of Wagner, jokingly, this is what we talk about every day. This is what happens every day in our office.
Most of you know the World Prayer Center is right out here on the other side of the parking lot. That's where Global Harvest's offices are. And there are people out there praying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so there's a big open room where the globe is, and you're welcome to go in there and join the team at any time. Sometimes the prayer times are like a service where somebody's leading in the front and you can join in with them. Other times there's music playing and there are prayer stations which you can go around to and you can have a more private prayer experience. And then if you want a private room, and so you're welcome to go there, and I would encourage you to go there during your off times. Be here in the conference sessions during the conference session times. But so the whole campus is available to you. And we want you to just use it. We want you to grow. You're in a place that's been cleaned up prayer-wise. The heavens are open. This is one of the easiest places that I know of where you can receive a genuine outpouring of the Holy Spirit.
And so, yes, he is definitely involved.
You know, the World Prayer Center is headed up by Peter Wagner, Ted Haggard, and Chuck Pierce, whom Charisma Magazine calls God's Generals. And it's reported that the World Prayer Center was built largely through the contributions of Ted Haggard's New Life Church, which neighbors the center, reportedly donating $3 million and the land for the prayer center. Then we have George Otis Jr., who's under Peter Wagner of the Sentinel Group, Wagner's Global Harvest Ministry, Ted Haggard's Information Network, are all situated on the grounds of Haggard's New Life Church in Colorado Springs. The New Life Church sits on a hill adjacent to the World Prayer Center. So how he's not aware of what they're doing and not being involved, it just doesn't make sense.
We also made another claim. We said Haggard is a leader of the in the New Apostolic Reformation under C. Peter Wagner, who claims they are foundational apostles for the 21st century. Haggard's response was, I don't have a clear understanding of what the New Apostolic Reformation is, and I don't know what a foundational apostle is. Well, that's impossible, because here he is on the tape explaining what the prophetic movement is all about, and explaining what they're doing, and claiming that there are foundational apostles needed in the church today.
So Peter Wagner is recognized in our church congregation as a man with a strong apostolic ministry and a man that operates in the office of an apostle.
Right, and even in Arise magazine, in an article by the New Apostolic Reformation posted on the site of theirs. It says, Pastor Ted Haggard of New Life Church has been officially recognized as an apostle of a certain sphere of churches called the Net. So they recognize him, and how he doesn't have a clear understanding of what they're doing, again, it doesn't make sense.
It's improbable, if not impossible. We also informed the members of the National Association of Evangelicals that Ted Haggard, quote, Ted Haggard and his associates like George Otis Jr. have claimed whole cities have been saved, or whatever, due to unbiblical spiritual mapping and spiritual warfare techniques. Well, Ted Haggard wrote back, he said, quote, I have never claimed that cities have been saved due to spiritual mapping or spiritual warfare techniques. However, in an interview with Ted Haggard called Spiritual Mapping, he says this, quote, their plan, spiritual mapping, led to an amazing spiritual revival in Colorado Springs area, and it is a method of prayer that is changing cities and countries around the globe.